Hello everybody. Okay, up on the channel, thank you for all the comments, thank you for all the subscribers and all the great ideas for videos of what all of you would love to see here at Last War. It happens to be season 2. So there's been quite a few questions around the dig site beasts or bosses, resistance, and so on. So on our server on 33, all the dig sites have been captured, so there's not any bosses or beasts there anymore. So it's hard for me to remember what it was because we captured as soon as these lands opened. And right now, today, we had captured the level 5 city. So I had to go to server 10, and I think I'm going to have to jump to another server as well to show all of them. So I'm sitting on server 10, and if I zoom out, it doesn't look like there's a lot of alliances left here because there's a lot of open land. But I can check to see if we've got a boss, and we do. So let's go through each of the dig sites. So dig site 1, in this case, we have got the Mutant Guerilla. That's level 15. So for all of the dig sites, I just want to point out two very important things. First off is the virus resistance. It will tell you how much you have versus how much is required. So unfortunately in this video, I'm not going to be able to talk about the damage reduction because my resistance is already very high. But what I would say is if you want to attack one of the bosses at a dig site to try to capture it, and you don't want to do 1% damage and take all day and 1,000 stamina, then you want to make sure that you will do at least no less than 36% damage reduction. And that's going to completely depend, by the way, on your squad power. Obviously, a 10 million squad, 36% less, we just do the math, right? That's going to leave you with only 640k power. That may barely even, probably not even, touch this Guerilla. So you have to base it on your squad power. So if you are 25 million, 26 million, and you're at minus 36, you probably can take the beast, and it will do maybe 4 to 6% depending on other people in the rally. Do keep in mind that there's a little trick. I don't know if they're going to change this throughout the season, but the initiator of the rally lead, whatever resistance that person has, anybody that's lower than that level resistance will get bumped up to that level resistance, which is really important. So make sure that the person with the highest resistance is the one that's starting the rallies. Don't go starting 2 or 3 other rallies with someone who's got barely any resistance, because what will happen then is anybody that's lower than them will get brought up to their level, but other people that are higher are just going to stay there, and honestly, you're just going to kill your troops. So virus resistance, super critical. They get harder as they go. In fact, actually, there was a patch after we made it past, I think it was in maybe the middle of week 2, where they increased the resistance requirement of some of the zombies and bosses. So it actually got harder as we went along. So pay attention to virus resistance. You need to make sure you're minus 36 damage or less, right? Less reduction. Anything more than minus 36, I would say don't even bother. The other thing is to tap on the info. And so the info is going to tell you what kind of squad they recommend. So here, it's going to tell you a missile vehicle squad is what's recommended to attack. You don't have to, but it's following that troop type triangle or counter triangle that we talked about in a previous video. So if you attack here with a missile vehicle, then what that kind of tells me is the Mutant Guerilla is probably aircraft, because aircraft is going to do 20% less damage to a missile vehicle squad, and that's why they want you to get that benefit by attacking with missiles. But you can attack with aircraft or tank. The reality is you're going to have to use whatever your strongest squad is. So check each of the dig sites to determine what the recommended squad is for the particular beast or boss that's at that dig site, and check your resistance. So we see here, this is a level 15 mutant gorilla at this level 1 dig site. Let's zoom out and we're just going to go through the others. So at this level 2, we have got a frozen mutant mammoth. All right, so resistance here happens to be the same. If I recall, the gorilla was also 6,500. The recommended power is up a bit. And honestly, there's something going on with this recommended power thing too, where the math just doesn't seem to add up. I can't explain it right now. It added up better in Season 1. Something seems weird in Season 2. But don't come into this and just think like, oh, I have 6 million, I can kill it. That's not the way it's going to work for you, okay? And then if we look at what it recommends here, for the mammoth, it's saying we recommend an aircraft squad. What's that tell me? The mammoth is probably a tank. Now, we see this one's frozen, so you have to break the ice first in order to attack it if this was a dig site adjacent to your land. Also, just FYI, let's send a squad over here. You can break the ice on any monster or base around the map, and that will give you a contribution towards your Alliance season contribution points, which is just an internal competition amongst your Alliance members. So I can break the ice here. You got to break the ice in order to attack it. You do not need to worry about your resistance when it comes to breaking ice. You're not actually attacking the boss in this case. We're just breaking ice. So see, I got professional skill points, as well as it would have given me some Alliance season contribution points. So dig site 2, we got a mutant mammoth. All right, let's go to dig site 3 here. Dig site 3, we also happen to have a mutant mammoth at this one too. Resistance is up to 8,500. Power recommendation is 8.5 million. Let's take a look at what they recommend. Again, mammoth aircraft. So you see a pattern here. You're not going to have the same type boss at every dig site. A level 1 is not always going to have a mutant gorilla. A level 2 is not always going to have a mutant mammoth. You can have them at different dig sites, but we'll notice that the recommended squad type is always going to be the same. Okay, so let's zoom out and find ourselves a dig site 4. Okay, well, we've got the polar bear here, so the mutated bear. At dig site 4, we still need 8,500 resistance. Power, though, bumps up to almost 12 million. It's level 30. And we see that the bear is recommending a tank squad, which tells me it's being considered a missile vehicle type of enemy. All right, so mutant gorilla, you would want to attack with missiles. The mutated mammoth, you want to attack with aircraft. And the mutated bear, you want to attack with tank. Again, recommended, not required. You're going to ultimately just attack with what you have. And let's see, we don't have a level 5 dig site, so we'll go to another. Let me see if this one is here. Oh, level 3. So we will go to another server for that, but let's take a look at a level 6 since there's one here. All right, so level 6, this particular one, we've got a mutant gorilla again. I don't know why it says mutant gorilla and the other ones are mutated. Who knows why they picked those words. Our resistance is now up to 9,500. Recommended power above 14 million. And let's take a look at the info here. Again, as we know, the mutant gorilla recommends a missile. Okay, so at this point, you've seen all of them except for the level 5 dig site. We'll take a look at that in another server in a second here, but you're getting the idea. There's a certain level of resistance. If you are at or above that level of resistance, then you will do 100% of your damage that you could possibly do to that particular boss. If you are below in any way the required resistance, then you will have a reduction in the damage. And generally speaking, you need to have minus 36 or better reduction in damage if you want to actually kill the thing or even hurt it at all. So virus resistance is critical. And then pay attention to the type of boss, gorilla, bear, or mammoth, to understand should you attack with the missile aircraft, or tank type squad for the best results overall. All right, so we haven't looked at a dig site 5, and I believe there is a dig site 5 on server 3 that's open. So let's zoom out here real quick. And what do we have? Might have been somebody captured, or do we still have it here? Yes, okay, great. So I'm going to land here. Not the best thing to do because that's going to get cold really quickly. So if we look at the land temperature here, it's minus 60. So I'm going to start dropping. So I'm going to do, just for sake of the rest of this video, so I don't turn to an ice cube and get stuck here, because if you are an ice cube, you are not able to teleport. So I got to work quick because that's barely going to slow it down. So if we look at level 5 dig site, what do we have here? Happens to be a mutated Mammoth. Resistance requirements 9,500. And we see again, right, the Mammoth is aircraft squad. So there you have it, folks. In order to defeat the bosses, and I'm going to get back to my war zone here before I freeze my butt off and can't leave. Somebody took my spot. Well, that's unfortunate. So what you will notice is each of the dig sites has a boss. They require a certain amount of resistance in order to defeat that boss. Make sure that you have minus 36% or better damage reduction in order to not burn all your stamina and waste a ton of troops trying to kill that boss. So hopefully this helps with your questions around resistance. I know it was a bit of a long video. I apologize for that. I had to go off of my server in order to actually find examples that we could take a look at for each of the different levels of dig sites. All right, everybody, stay warm up there in the polar storm. We had a nasty blizzard earlier today, minus like 50, I think it was. It was a level 7. It was crazy. Strongest one we've had yet. Luckily, it ended before we had to capture our level 5 city. So hopefully, good fortunes with you as well with the weather. Smash that like button, subscribe, drop me a comment. Take it easy, everybody.